Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of That Pipe. You really...
Sped that up.
You dropped that in a hurry.
Just trying to get the show on the road.
I apologize that I've taken too long.
I should have wore sunscreen before I came in today. Didn't think I'd be getting roasted.
Well, welcome back to another episode of That Podcast. I'm Ryan Janke, and I'm joined by Sarah DeYoung, Pastor DJ Lura, and Jenn Kaminsky-Horak is back.
Woohoo!
Jen,
hey.
How are you?
Wait, I'm great. Thank you. Yes.
There it is. It's still going.
I know.
Amazing.
Sit down,
Standing applause.
please.
It's enough.
Oh, man. How's everybody doing?
Doing well. Mm-hmm. We were talking about some fun stuff that's going on. You two you and Jenn are both bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. You've gotten back from quite an adventure. And before we get into that, I want to talk about something that I discovered. I was reminded again just how old I am.
I'm old.
And that the words that I use are not cool. And I think of my kids as thinking of me like how I think of old-timey words. And so I looked this up. It's 17 old-timey cuss words.
Oh.
Like
that
shucks?
are any, I know, but
Should I mute you
anything
now?
but offensive today, because
shoot.
my kids came back and they were talking in tongues that I did not understand, using words that I'm pretty sure was an insult to me in some way. But it got me thinking about it, and I want to share some of these with you.
Okay, go.
Doggone it.
Doggone it. Really?
Yeah.
I
That's
think I
on the
still hear
list?
Ryan say that one.
Mm-hmm.
I do say that one, actually.
Well, if you think about it, most of them are about not taking the Lord's name in vain with a word of punctuation.
I
right?
actually, now that you started this, I am curious how many of these I actually use on a...
Should we just start a
Yeah.
contest?
on the regular.
Shoot.
Shoot.
Yeah. Sugar.
No, don't use that.
Nope.
That's a swear word in my house.
No, don't use that one.
We don't like the sugar. Stuff will take you down. Holy moly! I use that all the time.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Sometimes
all the time.
I say it sometimes.
Sometimes I like to, if I'm really into it, it's holy guacamole.
Oh, man.
My favorite TV show is on again. Holy moly 3D. It's about miniature golf. It is so funny.
Never even heard of it.
Is that like a Netflix thing?
It's like an ABC, NBC, CBS thing, and it's only on during the summer.
Okay.
It's on all of them?
Summer. No, it's just one of them, but it's summer. Summer of Games. So I think it's on the same channel as the Family Feud.
Okay.
But
What's it called
it's
again?
on Thursday nights. It's called Holy Moly, and it's miniature golf on these gigantic, like a gigantic course of mini golf.
So if it's on, is Family Feud on ABC?
I don't know. It's one of those.
It's one of them. Is it the same channel that used to always have? What was that show where they would do the
Wipeout?
Well, yeah, Wipeout. Yeah,
That's TBS, I think.
I think they
was
still
CBS.
do it.
I love that show.
With John Cena now.
Really?
Oh, yeah, John Cena and Nicole Byer.
Yeah, the lady from she was on like some cooking show, wasn't she?
Nailed it.
Very funny.
Yeah.
John Cena slowly is turning into Jim Varney. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very, very slowly.
I was thinking more of like The Rock, but without the success. In the nicest way.
Sorry, John.
He's the GoBot Rock to the Rock's Transformer
Wow.
Yeah.
Rock. Anyway, so holy moly,
Yep.
check it out. This one I kind of get. Jeez Louise.
Jeez Louise.
'Cause
It's Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh yeah, and Jeez is of course alluding to the Lord, but it's using it in a cleaned up way, I guess.
Ryan says that one too.
Do I?
I'm pretty
Jeez
sure.
Louise?
Yeah.
I don't remember saying that one.
Well,
How about this one? Gosh.
Gosh. Gosh. That's another Napoleon
Or if
one.
you get really fired up, gosh darn it. I've done that.
Dad, burn it.
And the next one was
Called-
dadgummit.
Yep.
I think Pastor
wrote this
Paul
list?
corrected me to say dadgummit when I said something else. I think I said dang, and he says, you mean dadgummit. I was like, okay.
Kiss your mom with that mouth? Boy, oh boy.
Oh, man.
This one still kind of gets me. Oh, poop.
No.
Sounds kind of, don't want to use that one too often.
L7 wee.
Oscar Mayer even football.
Dodger dog. I can't even know if I'm pronouncing this right. Jessam Crow. Ever heard of that before?
I've heard of Russell Crowe.
Oh, this one's kind of cool. Oh my thunderation.
Nope.
What?
Yeah, you gotta bring that in. Gotta bring that in. Fiddlesticks.
Yes.
Oh, yep.
I do fiddlesticks all the time. Fiddlesticks.
Ryan, I think you need to start like making sure nobody's following your car home or like recording your phone calls.
They might
because
be.
I think they just took most of the words you use and make a list out of them.
Boy, that potty mouth of yours, Ryan.
Yep.
Out of control.
Filthy.
Jiminy Cricket.
Nope. Don't use that one.
Heavens to Betsy.
Heavens to Murgatroyd. I used that one.
Who used to say that? That was on a
That was
cartoon or
Marvin
something.
the Martian.
Oh, really? You would say-
Yeah. Heavens to Murgatroyd. I can't do the voice. But yeah, that was the deal. Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Bullcorn. That's bullcorn.
No, got nothing for
How do you
that.
spell
like
that?
bull honky.
Bull honky. I used that
L's
one.
Or bulk
Bull.
Man, I am
like
old.
a bull with
with
Bull.
horns.
Yep.
Huh.
Bullcorn. Consarn. Consarnet.
Never heard of
I think I
that.
heard that on The Simpsons once. Drats. Drats.
I say rats a lot.
Yep.
I'll text that one. I got no problem texting rats.
Rats. Oh, fudge.
Nope.
No. Son of a gun.
Son of a biscuit. I use that
Biscuit.
one. Yeah.
Hell's bells.
Nope. That's
say
filthy.
that.
It's an
That's
AC/DC
filthy.
song, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's my list.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, so then it got me thinking about some of these terms that you guys learned on the trip. So before we get into the good stuff on the trip, I want to hear a little bit about Gen Z slang, the words that they use.
Don't loop me into that, DJ.
Oh, are you Gen Z too?
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, well, what's the
I
next?
don't- I don't know.
What is this generation then?
I feel like real quick before we start in, I am a millennial.
You're a
I just
millennial.
want to get that on recording.
I don't.
On
Are you
the
proud
record.
of that? Is that what
Yeah.
you're proud? Okay.
Sure.
Well.
What's the difference? I mean, honestly. All I know is that I've heard that Gen X, we're really suspicious. If you show us something, we're like, show me the work.
We're sus.
Yeah. We're the
Yeah,
ones that
Ryan.
like the
Get
COVID
with the
vaccine.
kids.
Let me see the data. Let me see how it works.
Hold on. I want to clear something
Wait,
up.
did you just use a term that I don't
Yep.
get? What'd you say?
That's sus.
I said it was sus.
Sus.
Yeah,
suspicious.
But I will. I'm gonna just say something here. I would not like to be grouped in with any boomers, and so I'm sure they don't want to be grouped in with.
So what are you then, Ryan? The forgotten generation or
Gen X.
okay?
Or Gen X.
Yeah, represent. That's how they say it.
Formerly called Baby Busters, now called Gen X. We got sucked in with them.
Yep.
Baby Busters, Gen X, and Gen Y all became Gen X.
So I don't know what you're talking about with these slang words, but I will say that the trip was bussin'.
Bussin'.
Okay, so there's another
Bus
one.
and Janelle.
So does that mean you took a bus? Is that what you meant? And you rode a bus?
Just stop recording. There's nothing we can do to help this man.
I'm riding with my daughter.
Quick,
I'm like, what are these?
go get the big whiteboard.
I'm riding with my high school daughter who's explaining to me the middle school slang words, and she's telling me that they're outdated, that these are more middle school things. So I guess the high schoolers have a whole different set of phrases.
Well, they're just getting old.
But what were the ones you just said? Sus,
Yeah,
Yep.
sus.
Suspicious.
suspicious,
Yeah.
bussin'.
Yep.
Now,
Bussin',
it's
bussin'.
bussin'.
Good.
Is bussin' different than bussin'?
Oh no.
Well, it's
Oh, it means
just
the
you're
same
doubling down on
It's
it.
like good.
From what I understand, I'm still learning.
Well, the one I looked up, which is not how they're using it, sheesh.
Yeah.
That's another one of those old timey phrases to not take the Lord's name in vain, because it's a derivative phrase in the 1950s from saying geez. Started saying sheesh, and then it was.
Are they using
And Gen Z
it
just
in
added
this?
55 more E's.
Yeah. There
They're,
you go.
they're using it. Sheesh means like exasperation. That's the intention,
Oh yeah.
but that's not how Addie showed me, because I asked her, well, what does it mean when you say sheesh and you point at your elbow?
Mm-hmm.
She goes, oh, it just means that you're like. I'm like, what? Like you have ice in your veins? She's like, yeah.
She might be too old to qualify as somebody who could explain all this to us. To be quite honest.
Well, she's Gen Z.
Well, I think we need a demo from Ryan
Yeah.
of this.
Can we
the
see
way
your
the
sheesh?
kids use sheesh, because it's a whole new level.
Sheesh. like
It's a pretty short one.
Wow.
You got someplace to be or something?
Well, I just figured you did because.
All right, and then what is swag? Because I had to explain to them that 20 years ago, I'm still in 1996. So 20 years ago, swag meant like a gift bag, like free stuff.
Oh.
And they said, no, that's merch.
Swag's an old one, though.
Oh, right, but
swag was cool when I was in middle school.
they said swag and it meant something different. And it was probably 10 years old now, but for me, it's new.
It's like swagger.
So like swagger, that makes more sense. Okay. All right.
Yep. What else you got?
That's it. I'm all caught up.
How about dripping?
Oh yeah.
What's dripping?
That's when you're looking good.
You're dripping?
You're dripping. Yep.
When you're so ice cold.
When you're so ice cold.
Yep, you're dripping.
No cap.
Wow. Yeah, no cap. You're dripping, no cap.
Back in my day, we liked it.
Yep.
I give up. I'm going to stick with my. Everything's cool from the 1520s rather than the 2020s.
And gnarly.
Gnarly. That's an
That's
old
not
one.
coming.
My personal favorite is shucking corn.
Shucking corn.
Spoken like a cobber. Roll cobs.
That might be regional.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Very
It's
specifically regional.
I think it's really even less than regional.
It's when you throw up the two horns. Go herd.
Dragons of nothing.
Yeah, right? Just crickets.
Yep.
Yep. And
Good education at a good
all right,
price.
anyway. Well, thank you for clearing that up. That was about as clear as molasses for me. So,
you're welcome.
yeah. My kids will still be talking in code and I won't get it. And once I finally get it, it won't be anything
change.
anymore. It'll move on. So
Right. Yeah, it's a moving target.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll stick with my old timey.
You could always just get on TikTok. Learn it all.
I'm just going to stick with my old timey swears.
Dad, burn it.
That's right. Dad, gummit.
Son of a biscuit.
Anyway, so you learned all these things because you guys went someplace,
We
didn't you?
did.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
We went to Duluth.
Duluth.
Yep.
Duluth, Minnesota.
Yep.
How are things in Duluth?
Nice. It was
Nice.
good. It was good there. Yeah, the weather was beautiful. It
One of my favorite places on earth.
really.
Duluth, yeah.
That was only the second time I've ever been there. Because the first time I went was in April.
Did you get to
one
see any
year.
of the waterfalls?
No, we didn't go to any waterfalls.
There's hiking trails like crazy. Like there's a whole thing where you hit, I think, like 26 waterfalls
Gooseberry
wow.
Falls.
walking around.
Wow.
Yeah, Gooseberry Falls.
Gooseberry Falls. No, we didn't see any of that.
No, but we did make it up to the North Shore
Yep.
one night and
Nice.
the beach. And we cleaned up some litter on the beach for a project. That was a good one.
I didn't realize they had
project.
such a nice beach there.
Yeah.
That was really nice. Yeah.
Well, I'm still amazed from the pictures that I saw that you got a bunch of teens to go jump in Lake Superior,
They're crazy,
which
man.
is on average, I think, 50 degrees. And I've never seen people jump in without a wetsuit on, and they all did it just.
Oh, man. I haven't seen any pictures yet. I didn't come prepared.
I think it was to prove a point
Which was
that there's
that they're from North Dakota.
that they're gonna go in that water. They're swimming tonight.
Oh my goodness!
And that's the bottom line.
Did anyone actually swim, or was it just
yeah.
jump in
for
and hop
like
back out again?
An hour?
Oh, no.
No
half
way.
Hour, while. They were in there forever.
Oh, they were in there long.
Jeez.
In fact, it got to the point where we had to go, hey, come on, come back. Like
Going too
You're
far
starting to get a
out.
little purple. Come on.
You're going to be out to sea pretty soon. Yeah, they were
Yeah,
out
right.
there.
Yeah, well, that day Ryan was like, "Oh yeah, you're going swimming, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're going swimming," and so they proved him wrong.
Lake Superior is so big. I mean, it has a wake, doesn't it?
Well, it has a tide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yep. We looked that up twice a day. Yeah. So they were in it.
Did you
So-
guys go in? Was it like cold or
I
no?
stuck my toes in, and it was like ice water.
Yep.
Do I look crazy to you?
So you went there with 14 kids. You came back with 13. So that's a win.
We went there with 13.
Oh, are you sure?
Oh.
Yes, and we
Is that
came
the
back
official
with
number?
and we came back with 10.
Hey, that's still a win. That's more than that's more than 500. 50,
Just to clarify, 3 families picked their children up. Yep. It was good. Good times, man.
Yeah.
It was fun. We did service projects and did some sightseeing and learned some slang,
Well, I'm going to put...
played buttermilk biscuits.
That's right.
That's how you got down to 10. That makes sense.
Now that's going to become a slang where these kids are going to be walking around going, biscuits.
Buttermilk biscuits.
It's going to mean something to them. Thinking of slang words, that makes me think of swass.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
So, yeah. I tweeted him to let him know that if he sees an influx of downloads of buttermilk biscuits from the Fargo area.
So do you want your 5%
You're
of
welcome.
the royalties?
You're welcome, sir.
Wow.
Just doing my part.
It's always interesting with buttermilk biscuits because you play the song the first time and they sit there kind of glossy-eyed. So weird. This is weird. His voice is weird. It's just so strange. You play the whole thing, get done. Well, what'd you think? That was like a 2.5.
Out of what?
Give it out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Give it some time. Give it some time. Half hour later, would you play the Milk Biscuit song again? Oh, they love it. Yep.
Too fun.
So,
Well, okay, so I'm going to ask Jen real quick, kind of putting her on the spot.
good.
This is your first mission trip at Atonement, right?
That's right.
Ryan's I think a 4 or 5 year letter at this point. Right?
This was my 5th trip.
Yeah, there
Yep.
you go. 5 bars. Wow. So tell me what was what'd you like best about the trip? What was the best part for you?
Best thing? I liked getting to know the kids. I hadn't really gotten to know any of them because I mostly work with the high schoolers. So
right.
Yeah, so it was fun to, I don't know, get to know them and meet them. And yeah, gosh, they're great. They're so sweet and full of energy and yeah, but it was fun. It was, yeah. That was my favorite part.
Okay.
Getting to know them.
Was there, aside from Ryan playing buttermilk biscuits on repeat for the entire 5-hour drive up there?
That's not true.
Was there any other hijinks or tomfoolery? I know you guys didn't even have a room. The girls, you guys had to like sleep elsewhere, right? Like
we were like in a hallway kind of thing, but it worked out. It was fine. It was like a room. They put up a tarp, and so it was like a room.
They made an extra room for you guys.
Yeah, but it was good. It worked fine.
Yeah, that was funny because we got there like with 10 minutes to spare.
Not even like 2 minutes to spare.
We get in there and
they're going to lock the doors and you can't get in?
No, they wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, the kids were like, what happens if we're late? And Ryan's like, they're going to send us home.
That's a worse answer than that. There's always a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, they'll tell us we got to go home and we'll have to go back tonight. So,
Do you also tell your kids that the state borders close?
that the state borders close?
Yeah, like when I was growing up, my dad
No.
used to always say, be like, well, we got to hurry up and get on the road because, at nighttime they close the North Dakota borders and you can't go.
Oh, no.
I love that. I'm going to start using that.
No. No, my kids are too old for that, but that might be a one to use at some point.
I'm sorry to future mission trip attendees.
Yeah, so we got there and we go in, and so the girls go all the way downstairs because there was a sub basement in this place. Mm-hmm. So there was the basement and then the sub basement,
Which apparently used to be a bowling alley.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Weren't you guys in a church?
Yeah.
Yep.
That had a bowling alley in the sub basement?
Evidently.
We're doing it. We're doing it wrong.
They care a lot about their youth.
We need a bowling alley.
Yeah. So then, the girls go down to the sub basement to find out that they don't have a room, so they're in the hallway, and we go to the regular basement to find out that we get the overflow room. So it was just our group together, the five guys, me, Dave, and the 3 boys, and we got our own little suite, and then the girls got the hallway. So.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah, it worked out good for some of us. So, yeah, that was, we got there Sunday and showed up, had a little orientation, had some supper, did some worship, which we did every night. We had worship. And then Monday we got right after it. Was Monday the car wash day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monday afternoon we did a free car wash for the community members, and that was really fun. And yeah, I know the kids had a lot of fun with that. I think that was my favorite thing that we did.
The car wash?
Yeah, that week as far as service. That was really fun. And we, held signs on the street and all the girls are yelling, free car wash, free car wash. It was great.
Yep, that was really cool. And they two of them were dancing. What was the song they were dancing to again? Cotton Eye Joe.
Oh, okay.
Yep, there was some line dancing going on in the sidewalk. I don't know if that drummed up any business, but they had fun.
So now were you, I don't know if you said this already, but it was you guys and how many other churches were?
3 others.
Yeah. So what we do with our mission trips, at least this year, is that we partner with a mission organization that's all over the country. And I think it's actually international too. At least I think they have some sites in Mexico.
Puerto Rico
Yep. is YouthWorks.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go to a YouthWorks site and you're staying in like a church or something like that. Was there air conditioning in the church?
Nope.
Oh, nice. Did you guys bring fans?
There was a fan in there, but it was in Duluth. So, I mean, it got down into the 50s at nighttime. Cool. So we just had,
that sub-basement was nice and cool.
Was it cool down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought so.
Because you guys didn't have windows. I was just going to say, we just opened up the windows and it cooled down really well, but you didn't have windows down there. But yeah, it cooled down at nighttime.
As the leaders, did you guys have daily meetings with the other leaders as well as like the YouthWorks?
Yes.
Site leader.
Yep. Since I was the actual official trip leader, I had to go every day, and then Jenn and the other 2 leaders went every other day.
Okay.
Yep.
And everyone got along. Was there any drama?
Oh, as you got middle schoolers.
I feel like a reporter that's trying to find some kind of scandal. Like what?
Looking
Give me the dirt.
Looking for the dirt. No, I mean you're dealing with whatever 60 middle schoolers. You're going to have little things here and there,
sure.
but for the most part, everybody got along really well.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Pretty impressive.
So we're from North Dakota. Where were the other kids from? Where were the other churches from?
There was one group from Bemidji, one from Aberdeen, and
I can't remember where the other one was.
Minnesota, South Dakota,
North Dakota.
Mm-hmm. And another one.
Boy, you get in Iowa, you got a Midwestern family reunion right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those 4.
Yeah, there were 4 total.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
Yeah, this week I found out that from the site director. This week now they've got 1 church with 14 total, including leaders and
really.
Yeah.
That's
small.
kind of a letdown from. What do you guys have, like 60 there altogether?
Yeah, 60
or something.
Yeah.
I think he was saying too, the week of the 4th of July, they've got like 5 people or something.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow. But they wanted to do it, so they're still doing it.
Was there a local church? Like, I remember doing a YouthWorks trip down to New Orleans a year before Hurricane Katrina. So we worked on a church. We did like construction and painting and of this beautiful Methodist church where it was 2 levels, and the top level was basically just like one huge dance hall.
Oh, okay.
And so we were working in the dance hall, and Katrina hit the next year and wiped everything out that we did. Wow. But when we were staying there, one thing we did one night is we went to a holiness apostolic revival church. And so these kids from Minnesota got to experience like charismatic Pentecostal worship in the South. The first hour was just prayers and spontaneous speaking in tongues. And then the second hour was the music, and then the preacher preached and people got up and gave testimony and stuff like that. And our Lutheran kids were like, wow, we've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Did they take you guys someplace to worship in Duluth?
No.
Okay.
No, so this is my 3rd YouthWorks trip. And we have yet to do anything like that. But when we went to Rapid City in 2018, I think, we got to go to a Native American powwow, which was really cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, and participate in it too. It was really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Hey guys, I want to take a minute to highlight a great organization. Fargo Mobile Pack, a partner of Feed My Starving Children, works with volunteers like you to pack meals for hungry children in over 70 countries around the world. For just 24 cents per meal, Fargo Mobile Pack is able to help feed malnourished or starving children. Since 2015, Fargo Mobile Pack has packed nearly 7 million meals in Fargo, North Dakota. On February 2nd through the 5th of 2022, Fargo Mobile Pack will be back in action. To find out how you can get involved or to donate, visit fmsc.org/Fargo Mobile Pack. That's fmsc.org/Fargo Mobile Pack. You can also find Fargo Mobile Pack on Facebook. Fargo Mobile Pack would like you to join them and help turn hunger into hope. Now, let's get back to the show. But no, we didn't go anywhere to worship.
But you guys worshiped on site. Like,
yeah.
I saw one video of all the kids. You know, it really seemed like the kids really made some deep connections. And they were all arm in arm. Mm-hmm. Even the kids that you look at and you think that kid, you know, will shrivel up if you so much as look at him. They were fully engaged with everybody, right?
I had one dad ask me what I did to his son.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Total personality change when he came home?
Well, I sent a picture. I texted a picture, and you know, this was a kid who was like, okay, got enough distance on that side, got enough distance on that side. All right, I'm good. And he was right in there too.
He was living the 6 foot distance rule before it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, they really got into it. I mean, you know, you start out on night one and even the kids from the same church are like, I don't want to touch anybody. Mm-hmm. And
too cool for school. By
the last night, you know, all 4 churches were all, you know, intermingled with one another and arms around each other. And yeah,
when everything's coming together, when there is like a godly experience happening at these mission trips, it's almost like the first day, it's like, how many more days do I got to do this?
Yeah.
And the second day, it's like, okay, we still got a long way. By the time you get to the halfway point, you're starting to think, oh no, I only have like 2 days left. Mm-hmm. Oh no, I only have like a day left. We have to go home. Mm-hmm. There's this change that happens.
Yeah. Actually, Tabitha told me that Haley said that
word for word, your daughter?
Pretty much, yeah. The first night she was like, okay, 5 more nights and we get to go home. You know, 4 more nights and we get to go home. And the last night she was like, I don't really want to go home yet. Mm-hmm. So
I can say that for my kid, and we really should have them on their old hats at the podcast. In fact, I saw that Reese is bragging online that she's been on that podcast.
Well, that was, yeah, so I might as well get that letter to, and if you want to submit any questions or comments, you can submit them at thatpodcast.net. Mm-hmm. But we did get one from Reese, and it says, I was on the podcast.
There you go. There you go. And so before you get into the other one, what I was saying with that is that, like, again, I know I've said this a couple times, but we've only been back here. I've been back here for 2.5 years. They've been here for 2 years, and 1.5 years of that was COVID.
Yeah, right.
So to be able to have Reese go on something like this and get to know, you know, her fellow Christians at Atonement, but not just as other church members, but as brothers and sisters in Christ and as friends. Mm-hmm. That she can rely on and laugh with and cry with and all that stuff that's a big thing for me as her dad. And that's one of the blessings I see of mission trips. And when kids get going on mission trips as early as they can, it really does make a difference for their faith life. Mm-hmm. It cements some things that become of great value to them. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, in that time, you think about church, like if you're an avid churchgoer and you bring your kids to church, the church experience, the body of Christ, you really only get like 2 hours with them on a Sunday if you're doing Sunday school plus worship. Yep. And then maybe 2 hours on Wednesday. Okay, that's 4 hours in a week. But when you go on a mission trip, it's 24/7.
Yep.
You know, for that whole 7. And so it's like a whole year's worth of impactful worship and experience and godly connections and faith in that week. So,
and if you think about it, you know, it's a time for all the kids who went on that trip to forever say, remember when we went to Duluth.
Yep.
You know, if you think about it, how many mission trips do you go on in your middle school, high school career?
Yeah.
You know, 6.
Well, think about it this way. I have heard in my life thousands of sermons.
Mm-hmm.
I have in my career given thousands of sermons.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really tell you how many of them I remember,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember every mission trip I've been on as a kid
Mm-hmm.
and as a leader, and what came out of that, and the experience, how that impacted different people, including myself.
Yeah.
So what was the worst part of the mission trip? And I'll say it before anyone else does, because it's a thing that I have. The foot washing, that had to be the worst, right?
The worst.
I always dreaded the foot washing.
Did you really?
Yeah, I said
the worst just repeating you. You hated that part,
Well,
huh?
I hated it because, first of all, I don't like people touching my feet.
Uh-huh.
Because my feet are gross, in my opinion.
well,
but at the same time, every time it's been done, it's been incredibly meaningful and incredibly moving.
Mm-hmm.
But I just dreaded it every time. If there was one thing I'm like, we're gonna wash feet. I don't know if I want to go.
Well, that's just a given on a youth work trip. Somebody should explain it.
I'm a total Peter, just looking at Jesus like, you're gonna wash my feet. You're not gonna wash my feet.
You want to explain it, or you want me to explain it?
You go ahead.
So on a youth works trip, the last night they have during worship, they play. It's a different vibe, because every other night they will play worship music and everybody's going crazy. You know, the kids are all talking and singing along and just being loud. And that last night they play an extra song, and they'll play the first song and they won't play the second song until everybody's quiet. Then they play the second song and everybody's chattering again, and then they won't play the next one until everybody's quiet again. And then they show a video about how Jesus washed the disciples' feet, and that was his example for everybody else. And then they say, this is what we're going to do. Now, if your kid has not been on a youth works trip or has no idea this is coming, it's like deer in the headlights look.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. And so the youth work staff will bring all the leaders up and they wash all the leaders' feet, and then you get a tub, and you bring it, and the male chaperones will wash the boys' feet, females will wash the girls' feet. And it's funny because the first 2 youth works trips I was on, they you do the foot washing thing, and I'm looking at all the other churches and all their kids, and they're crying and hugging, and it's just this big, powerful experience. And I'm looking at our kids going, what's wrong with our kids?
See, this is why I don't think I like it. I think it's it's deep embedded Norwegian piety. I'm almost convinced. I'm almost totally convinced that's what it is.
Well, I'm looking, I'm like, our kids are
not a very
like
good foot washer.
They're checking their watches to see what time we can get out of here. But this time was totally different. Totally different. I don't know. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was a powerful experience for the kids. I mean, they were, like you said, like crying and hugging each other, and didn't want to leave and just wanted to kind of, be in the moment. And also like with the kids that they'd met from other churches too, it was like a good time for that as well, for them to right.
When you guys shared that in staff on, what was it, yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
The first thought that came to my mind is like, well, that makes total sense to me, because with this whole time of isolation, that was, first of all, washing someone's feet. I mean, that's an intimate thing to do. It's also a very humbling thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can just imagine the emotional and spiritual cleansing that was coming out of the kids. I mean, if you think about isolation, not only not being able to like touch anyone, but be within distance of anyone, even in the same space for a long time. And there's been kids, we hear all these studies, and we're going to have more coming out speaking about the level of isolation and despair that's been going on with youth, especially in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And so what is this? I mean, I just think of that whole experience just breaking in And here they've been doing good all week. They've been building relationships all week. And then to have something like an adult kneel down and be a servant to them like that. I mean,
yeah, we do that. And then
just as Jesus does for us,
do that and then pray for each one of them, and I think that's
huge.
It was really, really powerful. And actually, Haley asked if I would wash her feet. And so I washed Haley's, and it was like, wow, this is,
it's an outpouring of love. I mean, that's how Jesus did it. And he said, here, I've given you an example, and that's why Peter was like, you're not going to wash my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the Lord. You're not washing my feet.
Yeah. So it was really neat. It was a cool experience. And it went for like an hour probably.
Yeah, probably.
So really neat.
Good.
So, then we threw them back in the van, played more buttermilk biscuits, and away we went.
Ryan, what was your favorite part of the whole trip?
I think the same thing. I always like just hanging out with the kids and watching them. It's not like a oh wow, look at the crazy change they made, but you can see they're all a little bit like Haley, where they're like, okay, I'm missing home. There's 5 more sleeps. And then you get to the end, and like this Youth Works trip was different in that generally our church would be mixed with another church.
Right.
And that is really a point where they're like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't want to work with anybody else. I want to be with our church.
Right.
And there was a little bit of that. I mean, we had to split into 2 groups because our group was so big. And I know that no matter what we would have done, there were kids who would have, they were with friends, but they also had other friends that went in the other van. But they were able to get closer with the kids who were in our own van. But even at the site, they got close with kids from other churches. And I think my favorite part is just seeing all of that, getting close with them and seeing them get close with one another, and just knowing that, like I said earlier, this is something that they're going to be able to remember for a long time.
I just thought of something else too, that this is a big selling point to parents for any trip coming up. And we still have one more trip. That is the high school trip closed now, or okay. Well, for next year, parents, you get a week of your kids detoxing from technology. Not only are they out of your house, but they don't have their phones with them.
That's a huge. We talked about this earlier. That's a huge thing even for me.
Yeah.
I mean, a week away from the
bee.
The most trusted name.
That was sad. That was sad.
Are you still catching up?
You have to. No, a week away from the 24/7 news cycle that is just so negative and is just, man, what a drag.
Well, and if you come back and you turn on again, you're like, oh, nothing's changed.
Yep. It's like watching Days of Our Lives.
But I mean, those things are. You think about like, when can I go home? A bit of it might be like addiction withdrawal of not being able to get to their devices. But you take those away for a week. By the end of the week, it's like their skin is cleared up. They're got more color in their face. Their eyes are brighter. Right? From the mission trip, parents, best thing you can do. Send your kids on a mission trip.
Yeah, it was fun. It was great. So,
all right.
What else? How much? What are we at there?
Well, we're going to try to get some of the mission trip goers, the middle schoolers, on to give a rebuttal to you both and your answers that you gave. So
rebuttal?
Check.
Yeah. See if what you said was meet, right, and salutary.
I think that there were. I know that there were people in church on Sunday who heard this, but I'm gonna find Kathy's post on our social media. So
I just figured out bussin' means meet, right, and salutary, doesn't it?
I still don't get that one.
Which one?
Meet, right, meet. I like what?
Hold on. And now, DJ's House of Theological Nitwittery.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, go ahead while I look this up.
It's an old English term to mean right.
Well, yes, but why does it say it like that?
It has to do with Lutheran liturgy from back in the day.
Oh,
They would
really?
use the term meet. And it's kind of like, you ever heard the term betrothed?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it used to be that when a couple would say their vows on their wedding day, they would. It wasn't that they were promising; they were plighting their troth. It's where that term betrothed comes from. They were plighting their troth.
Okay.
And we talked about this a different time. Plight means something like a dangerous and scary situation. Well, what's more dangerous than marriage? And your troth is all of you. It's like it's an old word for truth. It's all of you. And so you're plighting your troth. Meet, right, and salutary is saying that something is good, correct, and just the way that it should be.
All right.
So that'd be like bussin' no cap. Something else.
Bling.
It's bling.
Okay. Was that good?
Yeah. What? Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So we mentioned the car wash. We mentioned cleaning up the beach. We also cleaned up some parks. The first 2 days we were together. So Jenn had a group and I had a group, and we each had another adult leader with us. And the first day we did the car wash. Was it just the car wash, or was there something else the first day?
We cleaned up the parks and then
the
did car
parks.
wash.
Yeah, the parks in the morning, and then the car wash. And then the second day was cleaning
The beach.
parks. Just
Yep.
the beach.
Yep, the beach, and then that's when they wrote the notes.
Oh yeah, I wrote encouraging notes. And then we split. In our group, one of the days we made sandwiches and handed them out to the homeless. And we made videos for area nursing homes of Bible stories. So the kids would put them all together and script them, and then one of the YouthWorks staff would record it, and then they email them around to the area nursing homes. But one of the days we went to a town just outside of Duluth called Cloquet, Minnesota. And we had a list of 3 properties that we were going to go out and volunteer to help the elderly keep their yards up or whatever. Mm-hmm. So whatever they needed done pretty much. And so, and you guys did that one day as well, right? But yours wasn't yard work. It was...
It was a little bit. We helped one lady with her garden, and then we also cleaned out some sheds.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So when we went out there, we had three properties on the list. And we went to the first one, and the lady came to the door, and she said, "Nope, I'm all good. I don't need any help." And we're like, "Oh, you sure? Nothing?" "Nope, I'm good." Go to the second one. "Hey, we're here to help." "Oh, no, we're good. We're good." We're like, "It's going to be a short day today." So then I called up the third person because we weren't supposed to be there till the afternoon. And she's like, "Oh, I don't have my list ready for you. Can you give me about 10 minutes? "Yep, no problem." So we went, had the kids all have a bathroom break and all that sort of thing. And we showed up, and she had this garden out front. Beautiful. Well, it is now. It was before, but when we showed up, it wasn't. It pretty much stretched from the front of her house all the way to where a sidewalk would be, if there was a sidewalk. And it was just a huge garden with a walk path in the middle. And she had a pool, like a little pool with a fountain in the middle of it. And the pool hadn't been run all last year, and the garden was just totally overgrown with weeds, and you couldn't even see the walking path anymore, really. And just a mess. And I got to talking with her. Her name was Kathy. And she said that, last year she only had her grass only got mowed a few times all last year because there was no volunteer services coming out. And so she didn't get her fountain put in her little garden pool, and the weeds just totally overtook that whole garden area. And so we came in, and the kids just went nuts on it. And we were there from, I think we showed up at maybe 10:30, and we left at 2:30. and we took lunch in between, but they just pulled weeds and we got that fountain going for her in the pool, and I mowed the grass, did some weed eating, all that sort of stuff, and we worked and worked and worked. And during one of my conversations with her, she said, "Where are you all from? Can you write it down?" She handed me a notepad. So I wrote it down later in the day, and I thought it was Margene that texted me, but I guess it was Amy. Amy texted me and said, "Hey, you should check our Atonement Facebook page," because when we left for the trip, we all got up on the ARC stage and took a big, a picture together with the whole group and posted that on Facebook. And so when I went in there and I looked at the comments, and there was a comment from Kathy, and it said, "These kids and their leaders were such a blessing to me today. I'm a 70-year-old disabled widow, and they came and weeded my garden, got my garden pond cleaned up and working, mowed the grass, and seeded a large bare patch in my yard. They worked steady for over 4 hours. My garden was terribly overgrown with weeds since it had no care all last year. I am so thankful that they came all the way to Cloquet, Minnesota to help me out." And then later she commented and said, "And they all worked with such cheerful servants' hearts." So I thought that was cool.
So cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It was neat to, and this is something that she'll remember, but it's also something that they can remember as that group that went there. You remember when we went and cleaned up Kathy's yard, and they spent time talking to her too. I mean, as they were working, they would take breaks every once in a while and visit, and that was really neat. The how excited they were to help her out.
That is, that's what you want.
Yeah. So it was cool.
So are you ready for Minneapolis next month? Couple weeks?
July 18th. I'm ready.
Yeah, let's go.
I was born ready.
Tomorrow. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. We've got a smaller group there. We've got five high schoolers and 4 adult leaders.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What else? Do you have any other thoughts about the mission trip?
I was just thinking about so that story you just told about the meeting Kathy and talking with her and whatnot goes with the theme of the week, which is about being a neighbor. And so I thought that was so cool. I was very impressed by the way Youth Work set up the whole like Bible and teaching part of it. So we went through the story of the Good Samaritan all week, and they broke it down into little chunks. And the kids would spend 30 minutes in a booklet each day and praying and stuff like that. And then in the evenings when we did worship, it was that same theme throughout the day with videos and questions to answer. So I think that story of working with Kathy is a great example of a way that they really did that in real life. The kids did by being a neighbor to somebody that they didn't know in a town that they had never been to before. And so, yeah, that's super cool to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really neat. So, all right. You ready to go back into the house?
Just doing some homework.
All right. So yeah, it was great. If anybody would like to talk about it anymore, just reach out. I'd be happy to talk some more about it. But it was just a great week of these kids, loving God and loving their neighbor and growing closer to Jesus and, growing stronger as a little group. And I think that's going to carry for a while. We already have a couple of them that want to work on the broadcast team, nice. run cameras and stuff. So
yeah, you had some new recruits.
We did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even Sunday.
We did. Yeah. Right away. Let's do this thing. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Very good.
So, all right. So we're going back to DJ's House of Theological Nitwittery.
Break out the saxophone music. That song is what you played.
What else would it be? Unless you want me to pull out some Huey Lewis in the news. I can do that too.
Now we're talking. I think I would prefer a little Huey Lewis in the news. Wham!
All right.
That sounded a little bit like the Super Mario's.
It could have been. Yeah. All
Don't
right.
get us copywritten.
So, okay. You ready?
Sure.
Just got to put on your thinking cap for this one.
All right.
This comes from Clarissa S. Clarissa.
Who that is.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. This might not even be a real name for all we know.
Sounds made up to me. Sounds like a pseudonym.
What are the grapes of wrath in the battle hymn of the Republic? Mine eyes have seen the glory. I'm not singing. Clarissa, you asked me to sing. I'm not singing. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling. Is it trampling? Trampling?
A trampling.
Bet you if you sang it, you would know.
Like trample.
I'm not doing it. Out the vintage
trample.
where the grapes of wrath are stored.
Yeah.
What are they?
What are they? That is coming from the book of Revelations, or more appropriately said, the book of Revelation. It's chapter 14, the harvest of the earth.
I wish somebody would do a study on the book of Revelation.
You know, I think that the desire is high, and so the demand has come. You know, supply and demand. We are doing a study on Revelation.
Are you really?
We are every Wednesday. Be there or be square. And if you miss it, it'll be online a couple days later out on the YouTubes. So
Well,
there
that's
you go.
fantastic. I bet they could go to the Atonement Fargo YouTube's page.
Yeah. So Clarissa S., come on down. It's going to be a while before we get to chapter 14. We're still right at the beginning. We're at chapter 1 today. So
All right.
So we're still right at the beginning. But this is at the back of the book. This is near the end. And it's called The Harvest of the Earth. And it says, Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and seated on the cloud, one like a son of man, with a golden crown on his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. Who could that be? Who's one like a son of man in the Bible? Who calls himself the Son of Man in the Bible? Who could it be?
It's Jesus, of course.
Spoiler alert. It's Jesus, yeah. And another angel came out of the temple, calling with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, Put in your sickle and reap, for the hour to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is fully ripe. So he who sat on the cloud swung his sickle across the earth, and the earth was reaped. Could also be an angel, like a son of man, but usually it's Jesus. And it's coming from the authority of Jesus. Then another angel came out of the temple in heaven, and he too had a sharp sickle, and another angel came out from the altar, an angel who has authority. Read that better. The angel who has authority. It's these bifocals. The angel who has authority over the fire, and he called with a loud voice to the one who had the sharp sickle, Put in your sickle and gather the clusters from the vine of the earth, for its grapes are ripe. So the angel swung his sickle across the earth and gathered the grape harvest of the earth and withdrew it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden outside the city, and blood flowed from the winepress as high as a horse's bridle.
There it is.
There it is. So what is the Battle Hymn of the Republic? You have a song that was basically written speaking about the judgment of evil and sin on earth, as portrayed in Revelation. And if you think about the Civil War, when the battle hymn was written, you could look at the horrors of war and say God's judgment has come upon this place. God's judgment comes in big and small ways, but talking about the last judgment, it's the judgment of evil. In other words, evil has an expiration date, people, and that's good news. God's grace, God's love is not indifferent to sin, evil, and suffering. All the injustices will be righted, but it's going to be in God's time, not ours. And so that's what it's talking about. It's giving the imagery of just like a grape gets squished, that God's judgment on the world will be like a great wine press just trampling over the enemies of God and the ungodly that destroy, kill, and
steal, kill, and destroy.
Wreak havoc on the world and on people. The biggest crime, just before that, there's a whole laundry list of crimes for Babylon, which is also called the harlot, and it speaks of worldly powers that basically they do all these things in one of them, we've been talking all about slavery and stuff. One of the crimes of Babylon for which Babylon is destroyed is trading in people. So if anyone ever says the Bible's in fact a booster of slavery, au contraire, you get to the end of it and no, it's one of the things that guarantees God's judgment upon you. So there you go.
All right, there it is, Clarissa S. Thanks for the question. If anybody else has any questions, I mentioned it earlier, but you can submit them at thatpodcast.net. That's thatpodcast.net.
What is it?
Thatpodcast.net.
Hey, and I saw something neat. We have merch. I don't know if we have merch for people to get. Did I use that right?
Yeah.
It sounds so bad coming out of my mouth. It's like old guy talking.
Hey, it's one of those deals where, sometimes if somebody answers a question and you're like, wow, I didn't know that. They could be lying to you, but if they say it with confidence, you're going to believe it. This is the same thing. Just have the confidence, man. Merch. Bussin'. Just roll with it. Sheesh.
Well, I guess we don't have anything for people to get their hands on yet, but it was really cool. I wish we had a camera on to be able to show those coffee mugs that Dana made.
Yeah.
It's pretty slick.
So we also have an Atonement or that podcast Facebook page, and I will I'll
get a picture.
I'll
on
see
there.
to it that the picture goes on there. Yeah,
We could even tweet it.
we could. We
Go
have
full circle from Gen Z to Boomers. Twitter.
That's true.
Get out the tiki-talkie and you can do something with that too. And
You can record a TikTok right now.
I don't have the account on my phone anymore.
What? You?
Yeah.
I thought you were part owner of TikTok.
I do spend a lot of time on there.
Wow.
It's my own personal TikTok.
Well, maybe sometime we'll have to TikTok.
I don't know, man.
Ryan actually is. I don't know. I would have to ask Dana the views on it, but you have a really good TikTok video.
I do?
A couple years ago now.
Really? Which one is that?
It's the Hey You There.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I see you over there.
Yeah, wrap it up, Ryan.
You have to check it out. You have to check it out. Would anybody like to pray us out of here before it gets crazy?
I will pray.
All right.
Pray. Dear God, we thank you for Jen being able to join us today. I thank you for Sarah and Ryan in our conversation together. It's a beautiful day, Lord. We know, at least in this part of the country, we could definitely use some more rain. It's a little bit drier than we're used to, and we need the rain for the crops. And so we ask that you would bring that. But Lord, we thank you for everyone who's listening. We pray, Lord, that you would work through our conversations and bless others with the good news of Jesus Christ, that we would grow deeper in our love for you and our love for our neighbor. All this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Jen, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
All right. If you would like to find a service to attend this weekend online or in person, we will be online and in person at 9 a.m. and 10:30.
Can I change it a little bit? We're going to be online and on site, because even if you're online, you are in person.
Oh, yeah, online
in
and
real
on-site.
time.
I apologize.
Yeah. You know what, though? It's becoming the common term. On-site is actually, people say in person.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
On-site or online, 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. every Sunday morning. Online, it is at atonement.live or atonementfargo.org or on the YouTubes.
Just subscribe.
Just subscribe. Kind of like Revelation. Just one.
Yep, I was going there too.
Nope. Just one of them.
The YouTubes.
Who knew?
Hey, YouTube.
Yes, YouTube. You can search Atonement Fargo on YouTube to find us. You can find old episodes of that podcast, the Revelation Bible study. You can catch up on the manual series that's going on right now every Sunday morning.
Click and subscribe. You're not paying for anything. It's not that kind of subscription. It's just guaranteeing that you're able to find us as easily and quickly as possible.
Yes. So, for Sarah DeYoung, Pastor DJ Lura, and Jen Comiskey-Horak, my name is Ryan Janke. Join us next time for another riveting episode of that podcast. She let me do the whole thing that time.
No, right?